Morning! Welcome to Truth Be Told with Don V. We ran across a couple disturbing reports I'd like to share with you. Before we move on to it, please remember to subscribe. Most people who watch my videos are not subscribers. It's completely free, no matter what platform I'm on, Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, all free. I don't do this for the money, it's all about getting that information out. Without ado, let's move to it. You're reading it just like I am. Pennsylvania House Democrat introduces forced sterilization and 3-child limit legislation. Now, who do they think these dirtbags think they are? They think they're in China or something? Pennsylvania Democrat Christopher M. Rabb sent out a memorandum to all House members regarding his legislation that will enforce reproductive responsibility among men. The bill will force men to undergo vasectomies within 6 weeks from having their 3rd child or their 40th birthday, whichever comes first. Who does this guy think he is? The legislation includes a $10,000 reward to whoever snitches to the proper authority on those who have failed to submit to forced sterilization within the allocated time. Where in the Constitution does it say that they have the rights to do this? Nowhere. Where in the state constitutions does it have the rights to say that they have the rights to do this? Nowhere. This bill will also include legal actions for unwanted pregnancies against inseminators who wrongfully conceived a child with them. Oh my gosh. As long as state legislators continue to restrict the reproductive rights of cis women, trans men, and non-binary people, there will be laws that address the responsibility of men who impregnate them. Thus, my bill will also codify wrongful conception to include when a person has demonstrated negligence toward preventing conception during intercourse, Rabb stated in his memorandum. Oh my word. What do you think is going to happen when you're fooling around? Pennsylvania State Representative David Rabb posted this on his Facebook account regarding this horrendous bill. If there was any doubt that today's progressive left have utterly and completely disregarded your personal medical freedom, then let this be the nail in the coffin. A legislator from Philadelphia has just introduced legislation that would limit how many children your family could have, dictate what age you could have a family, and would then issue a $10,000 fine for refusing to submit to forced sterilization after having 3 children. As a 4th-born child myself, I would have never existed under this law, and neither would so many others. Yeah, and this country would be so much better off if you hadn't. This bill will never see the light of day as long as Republicans control the House, but I wanted you all to be aware how quickly policies that belong to Communist China would become the norm here if Democrats seize control of the state government. Oh my word. The left is pushing to make America a godless communist country like their big boss China. This is utterly sickening population control, and they do this while illegal immigrants and refugees are flooding across the open borders. And then it gives a link for a memorandum. And there it is right there. The bill. Oh my word. Moving on. On the red state, it says the war on Christmas is back. During the myriad talk show rounds being made by multiple folks in American politics, Dr. Antony Fauci was once again called upon to deliver the bad news. On Face the Nation, the face of COVID panic was asked if Americans would be able to gather for Christmas. My colleague Nick Arama covered his response, and here's what the doctor ordered. This so-called doctor needs his license revoked and needs to be sitting in prison. It's just too soon to tell. We just got to concentrate on continuing to get those numbers down and not try to jump ahead by weeks or months and say what we're going to do at a particular time. Let's focus like a laser on continuing to get those cases down. Up yours, buddy. And we can do it by people getting vaccinated, and also in the situation where boosters are appropriate, to get people boosters because we know they can help greatly in diminishing infection and in diminishing advanced disease. The kind of data that are now accumulating in real time. You mean the data that says the exact opposite of what you're preaching? And you know what? Fauci is absolutely correct here. It is far too early to tell whether or not we are going to be able to gather for Christmas. Why? Because it's the beginning of October. We still have 2 holidays to celebrate with friends and family before we get there. I have long been opposed to the idea of Christmas even being mentioned this early, primarily because it keeps trying to usurp the glorious day that is Thanksgiving. Santa Claus is proof that imperialism is still alive and kicking, and it keeps trying to take over the fall months. After spending hundreds of years dominating the winter, we must stand together and put a stop to it. We do not need to be talking about Christmas. We should instead talk about much more immediate concerns. Will I be able to tax my children's Halloween buckets? And will I be making homemade cranberry sauce or scooping it right out of the can? These are the questions that are most pressing right now, not whether or not we can gather for Christmas. Here in the South, where I am, the answer seems pretty obvious. We should be able to let our kids trick-or-treat this year. The numbers are trending downward, and at the rate they are going at the end of the month should actually look comparatively good. In other states, numbers are going up, and some fear the cancellation of Halloween celebrations. But the kids will be in colorful, cartoonish masks and don't really transmit the virus all that much anyway. So it should be fine to let them score some candy. More importantly, you as parents are required to prepare them for the real world, which means confiscation of earned treats, especially Kit Kats. When late November comes around, we'll be seeing more cool weather and numbers still growing in other parts of the country. It might be rough, and some will have to miss a family gathering due to sickness, but it's not up to the government to decide whether or not you get to celebrate America's greatest holiday. Gather together and celebrate. It's the best time of the year, and it should be treated as such. But I agree with Dr. Fauci. I don't agree with anything that guy says. Don't think about Christmas right now. The media wants you to, because the media survives through advertising, and Christmas is big for advertisers. They want you to think about it already. Don't fall into that trap, and don't give in to Santa's demands that we start the Christmas season earlier and earlier each year. The war on Christmas is back, and once again I will lead the charge against it. We must reclaim autumn and its glorious holidays. What are these dirtbag, left-wing, communist traitors going to think up next? At any rate, this is Don V. We're broadcasting out of Arizona under sunny skies. Looks like we might be in the mid-60s today. Hope everybody has a happy Monday, and we are out of here.